This is Valley News Live at noon.
Breaking news just into our newsroom. We're learning more on what led up to a West Fargo shooting that happened on March 21st. Newly obtained court documents say it was a 12-year-old boy who was left with a gunshot to his leg. And now there is a warrant out for the arrest of 2 individuals. Now those 2 people are 20-year-old Jamon Walker of Glendon and 21-year-old Leotis McGee Jr. of Fargo. Walker is also charged with conspiracy to commit aggravated assault, and McGee has been charged with aggravated assault and reckless endangerment. Now, West Fargo police announced late last week that they have arrested Deontay Taylor and Garrett Morin in the case. Both have been charged conspiracy to commit aggravated assault. Now, police say just before 9 p.m. that night, they responded to the 1500 block of 11th Avenue East for a report of a shooting. Police located 5 shelled casings, and court documents say the victim's home had 7 bullet holes. Documents say the shooting was deemed a drive-by and may have been in retaliation from an earlier incident. Documents say Morin later spoke with West Fargo detectives and admitted to playing a part in the shooting. Morin stated that he and 3 other people drove from Moorhead to West Fargo to purchase marijuana. Documents say Morin told investigators when they drove past the victim's home, the front seat passengers started firing rounds into that home. Security is high around the Minneapolis courthouse where the trial of Derek Chauvin is happening right now. Chauvin is the former police officer who was accused of the murder of George Floyd. Floyd's family members say they will be present to monitor the proceedings. Let's get the latest from Jay Gray in Minneapolis.
Hey there, and this highly anticipated trial is now underway. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, who had his knee across George Floyd's neck for more than 8 minutes, facing murder and manslaughter charges here. A large crowd gathered before things got underway, including the family of George Floyd. Here's a little of what they had to say.
You mean to tell me if he didn't encounter Derek Chauvin that day, that he would have still died? They say trust the system. They want us to trust the system. Well, this is your chance to show us that we can trust you.
We do expect to continue to see protesters gather through the duration of this trial. There is a large security presence on the ground as well, and that's going to build as we get closer to deliberations and the verdict. When it reaches its peak, there will be about 2,000 National Guard troops on the ground, around 1,100 law enforcement personnel, everything from city and state police to federal agents. The judge in this case has said it should last about 3 to 4 weeks. That's the latest from the opening day of the trial. I'm Jay Gray. Now back to you.
For the latest throughout the day, head to valleynewslive.com. Authorities are investigating a hit and run in Moorhead that shut down a stretch of a busy road this morning. It happened at the intersection of 8th Street and 24th Avenue South just before 8 a.m. One lane of traffic on 8th Street was blocked and police had to get a damaged car towed from the scene. Everything back open within about a half an hour. Police say no one was seriously hurt. Fargo police are still looking for the driver of a car that was hit by a train in downtown Fargo. Police say the car went under crossing arms in the 500 block of Robert Street just before 10:30 last night and was hit. Officers say witnesses saw the driver and a passenger get out of the car and run away. Police had 2 detained last night, but it's not clear if they were the people in the car that was hit. Well, dry conditions have most of the Minnesota under a red flag warning today, and that includes Clay, Becker, Ottertail, Polk, and most other counties in our area. A red flag warning means critical weather conditions such as low humidity and high winds put us at a risk for wildfires. The state DNR says not to burn anything outside and had to check any burning done recently to make sure the fire is out. The DNR says any spark could easily erupt into a wildfire under these extreme conditions. Now for the latest on this warmth but windy weather, let's check in with meteorologist Lisa Green.
Well, good afternoon. You saw in our sky cam those flags really fly in there in our live view down at the Dakota Magic Casino, and it's windy everywhere today. Some of us a little worse off than others, and here's a look at that red flag warning. Again, it covers the entire valley and just took effect in a lot of areas here at the top of the hour. In addition to the threat for fire danger, it's just windy, plain old windy for us here today as well. So that means high-profile vehicles, anything that you have out in your yard that's easily really lofted. Some concerns about those objects as well. You're going to want to make sure you're tying things down or putting things away here as we head into the afternoon, and careful on those roads. A wind advisory right in the heart of the valley as well. So some conditions are windy. We're looking at some gusts into the 30s right now, and we'll see those winds pick up throughout the afternoon. Our current temperatures soaring right now. We're at 58 in Fargo and 57 in Grand Forks, and even warmer to the west, 63 in Jamestown and in Gwinner and Sisseton, already at 71 degrees. And here's a look at our winds. We'll see those numbers climb, and by the time we get into the later afternoon drive time, we're talking gusts into the 40s and 50s, and maybe even topping off at 60 in some spots today. So more details on that, when the wind will ease up too, coming up in just a couple of moments.
We'll make sure to stay tuned with you so we can get that update. Thanks, Lisa. Well, new at noon, a joint World Health Organization China study on the origins of COVID-19 says transmission of the virus from bats to humans through another animal is the most likely scenario, and that a lab leak is extremely unlikely. The findings offer little new insight into how the virus first emerged and leave many questions unanswered. The report, which is expected to be made public tomorrow, is being closely watched since discovering the origins of the virus could help scientists prevent future pandemics. Meanwhile, North Dakota is taking a big step forward in the fight against the coronavirus. The state starts vaccinating the general public today. They're available to anyone 16 and older, regardless of any at-risk health concerns. Check with your healthcare provider for a shot or contact Thrifty White Pharmacy, CVS, or your county's public health department. Minnesota is expanding eligibility into the general public tomorrow. Well, the state of North Dakota just announced a new food assistance program for families whose children are eligible for free or reduced price school meals. The program provides EBT cards to eligible families. The Department of Public Instruction estimates more than 31,000 North Dakota students will qualify. Families will receive funds for days that students are distance learning at home. It's intended to replace the value of meals the kids would have received at school. There's no need to apply. If your household qualifies, you'll receive a notification letter, and the cards will be mailed out in the coming weeks. If you have questions about eligibility, you can call or email. That information is on your screen and also posted at valleynewslive.com. If you have business with Clay County, much of it will now take place at a new location. The county's new government center opens today at 3510 12th Avenue South. 8 departments are relocating from the courthouse in North Moorhead, including assessor, auditor, planning and zoning, HR, and the administration offices. That's where you'll need to go for things like birth and death records, marriage licenses, property tax payments, and building permits. Renovations to the 18,000 square foot building include 2 public lobbies and multiple customer service windows to ensure a safe environment for people and staff. Well, coming up at noon, if you have sleep apnea but are tired of wearing a CPAP machine, a new therapy might be just what you're looking for. And today is not a good day to go grilling outdoors with that heat and also with that wind. Weather up next to with meteorologist Lisa Green.